and welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we do have plenty of Barca news on the agenda and up for discussion, because yes, we're going to be talking about the very latest on our injury situation. Unfortunately, we've always got an injury update here, you can bank on that, but we're also going to be talking about the latest transfer rumours as well, and an early look into Barca's transfer plans, which I have to say actually look quite encouraging right now. We're going to be discussing all of that, because for each of the topics that we do cover today, I am really interested to get your thoughts and your take on each of them. So come on, and let's do this. Because if we do indeed kick off with some of that injury news, and unfortunately it's a new player, I can't believe it, but it is another player that we have to discuss in relation to injuries, Alejandro Balde, because he started there for Spain against Scotland and he was subbed off at half-time with suspected discomfort, and then immediately he returned to Barcelona. He left Spain's camp, he came back to Barcelona, and by then the alarm bells, they were well and truly ringing. Because look, any injury to Alejandro Balde, it brings about a nightmare situation for Barca. We simply cannot handle him being out for any length of time. It would be a disaster in our team at left back, and it has been confirmed there since he has returned to the club and undergone further tests that Balde has an adductor injury in one of his hamstrings. But the only positive thing right now is it doesn't appear to be a serious problem. It's rumoured right now that he's going to be out for around 10 to 12 days. It's nice to actually have an injury here that's days rather than weeks, and he will be back in time for the Clásico. That's a big relief, but it's still not ideal, is it? And I think the point still stands here, guys. We are running a huge risk in both fullback areas right now with Balde, and we're really pushing Cancelo to the maximum in terms of his workload. We have to improve our depth there. Fullback depth should have already been improved, but the only good thing is, it looks like very soon that's on the agenda in our transfer plans. Because there have been widespread reports over the course of this week suggesting there that Barca have already decided that it will be the last season for both Sergio Roberto and Marcos Alonso at the club. It will be their final season here, and there is no intention to renew them further. And it's even being said right now that the players have already started to accept that that is indeed the case. And what that would mean is a big overhaul in the full-back areas. Barca would need to go out this summer and sign 2 right-backs. Of course, one of those we hope to be, João Cancelo. It seems there like we have a verbal agreement with Man City, something that's not written into Cancelo's loan deal, but it seems to be there an agreement on the side for around 20 to 25 million euros to make that permanent, and we expect that to become the case in the summer. But we would also need there to add then another right-back to provide depth in that area. And of course, it's exactly the same over on the left-hand side about depth. Alonso looks to be leaving at the end of the season. It will then be time to bring in a higher quality backup for Alejandro Balde so that he can get sufficient rest, so that we're not overly reliant on him, so we're not running him into the ground, and so that just one injury doesn't potentially derail our season. But the question I think is, especially at left back here, who do you go out and sign? You know, who can you approach to bring in that area? What kind of quality could you get? Because we've seen in the past when Alba's been at the club, and when you're looking for an understudy to him, it's tricky to bring in somebody there who's ultimately going to accept being a backup, but is also going to show their best level and be very motivated there and every single week be pushing to get in the team. It's tricky to find somebody like that, and maybe that's why already we are hearing the name of Alex Valle. He is the 19-year-old left-back from Barca Athletic. He actually went out on loan in the summer to Levante in order to gain experience and ultimately prove himself to Xavi. And although Levante are playing right now in the second division in Spain, I think Valle has been excellent so far in his loan spell. He's already established himself there as an undisputed starter at left-back in their team, and he's been playing some really good football. And reports say this week that Xavi is well aware of what he's doing. He's keeping a very close eye on Valle. He's keeping him in mind, and he could be an option come the summer at left-back. And I'm just wondering right now, guys, what would you do in that area in the summer? Would you go out and sign 3 brand new players there to come in at full-back, 2 at right-back and 1 at left-back? Or would you be happy there with maybe signing the 2 right-backs but putting faith in somebody younger, somebody like Valle coming through at left-back to provide backup for Alejandro Balde? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. And speaking indeed about transfers right now and Barca's transfer plans, let's move on to talk here about Bruno Guimaraes. He is somebody that we have spoken about about before on the channel. He was linked to Barca very recently back in the summer. There crazy rumours came out about Newcastle offering Bruno plus money in exchange for Rafinha. That seemed to be quite far-fetched at the time, and ultimately that turned out not to be true. But now we have another rumour linking Bruno to Barca, and this one for me actually is slightly more on the believable side, maybe, because it comes from Tony Joan Martí, who is hit and miss when it comes to transfers, but he says right now that Bruno dreams of playing for Barca. He wants to make that possible, and as a result of that, he has actually managed to include there a Barca clause in his new contract with Newcastle, which would allow him to leave the club for between 65 to 70 million euros if Barca want to sign him in the future, which on the face of it there, in terms of the quality that Bruno's showing, the stage of the career that he's at, he's only 25 years old, entering into his prime years, that would be pretty good value there, 65 to 70 million euros for a player of that quality. And I do find this rumour a little bit intriguing because Bruno has only just signed a new contract at Newcastle until 2028. That happened just 1 week ago, and it was actually widely reported then by Fabrizio Romano that in that deal there was a £100 million release clause included in that deal, which I have to say in itself, that is a little bit unique for the Premier League. Usually Premier League players there, they don't really have release clauses in their deal. It's not something you often see in the league. So already that is quite a big step. And I do find that interesting because if there has been a release clause included, strangely in that deal, is it possible that Bruno has managed to agree a Barca clause? Is it possible there could be a clause for less than that included for us? And I'm just wondering right now, guys, on the face of it, would you like to see Bruno Guimaraes at Barca? Is he a player that you think we need? Should it be a priority? I'm not only thinking about this summer, but maybe beyond as well. And do you believe, should that clause exist, that he's worth 65 to 70 million euros if, and is an if, that clause does exist? Let me know on that in the comments down below. Which then brings us onto another very, very intriguing transfer rumour right now. I want to talk to you guys about Nico Williams, the Athletic Club and Spain winger, only 21 years old right now. We know him lightning quick, isn't he? He's direct, he's great in 1-versus-1 situations, and actually now he's very capable of playing on both sides, not only on the right, but he's played a lot of the season so far on the left for Athletic. I think there's still so much to come from him. Really, really exciting talent in the wide areas, but could he be about to make a big move to Barca? And this is the really interesting thing right now, because there have been just a few reports, one or two here or there, over the past 24 hours, that Barca have a full agreement to sign Nico Williams on a free transfer in the summer of 2024. So this coming summer, apparently Barca could sign Nico Williams for free because his contract at Athletic will be expiring. And apparently this is the last piece of business that Mattia Almani completed during his time at the club. Now, I have to say, first of all, this has mainly been reported by a journalist called Enric Canellas, who is not widely known by any means. He does throw out a lot of transfer rumours. Some of them prove to be correct. Some of them do not, is fair to say. He's not ultra reliable, I'm not saying that at all, and most people right now have kind of written off this rumour. But one thing that does stand out to me here about Enric is he was actually one of the first journalists there to break the Inigo Martinez to Barca transfer story. And remember, that was also on a free transfer, and that was also coming from Athletic Club. So there is a chance there, albeit a small one, that he has some sort of source within the surroundings of Athletic Club, maybe a murmuring, or maybe a few words there that have come out that he's caught up on. And I'm just going to be really interested, guys. Just keep an eye on this. We're not going to think too far into it, but just keep an eye on over the coming months if Nico Williams renews with Athletic. That's the first thing, because his contract does expire in the coming summer. Now, Athletic, we know, are going to try everything possible to keep him because they know that a player of Nico's quality, especially for them, given their very unique transfer policy, it doesn't come along very often. They need to keep hold of the quality they have, and they're going to try everything to renew him. But as that time goes on, if we move into next year and he still hasn't renewed and he's entering the final months of his deal, we could agree a pre-contract, by the way, in January for him, and I think it would be an incredible free signing. I'm not getting too excited, I'm not getting too ahead of myself here, but on a free, a player of his talent, of his quality, of his potential, and the fact that he's very versatile as well, and he really seems to have a good chemistry with a lot of the young players that are coming through right now at Barca and playing for Spain, and all together, I think it could be a really, really exciting deal. But let's just wait and see if he does go on to renew renew that deal if Athletic managed to get him to extend. But this is another question for you. Would you like to see Nico Williams at Barca? Do you think he would be an astute signing on a free transfer? And do you see him as a good player for Xavi's system? Do let me know all of that down below, guys, on Nico Williams, on Bruno Guimaraes, and also on our fullback plans for the coming summer. Hopefully, we can keep moving in that right direction. I think we're nearly there. In terms of squad depth, we've added good quality. We have plenty of really top quality players right throughout our team and a good blend of youth and experience. We're nearly there, but those full-back areas, they are key for me. So let me know, guys, in the comments down below, all of your feelings on today's video, and I'll be seeing you soon for lots more coming up indeed. Thank you still for joining me here during the international break. A few quiet days that we are having right now, but it all will pick up soon, and I will see you then for it all. I hope you guys are doing well, but until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.